I'm gonna stop sharing again. I'll reshare. Okay. Okay. All right.
Thank you for attending.
I think can everyone hear the audio,
I just
right?
hit record for you, Dr. Yvette. Are you in here?
I am. Thank you.
I'm recording.
There you are.
Awesome. So all right.
Do you need me to play
So welcome.
your video as well? Your intro, or are you good
No.
without it?
I'm working on it.
I can't
Dr.
hear
B.
you. I don't know why.
I
Okay.
am just standing by for Lex. She's going to help me with the video.
Okay. All right. So welcome everyone. And let's welcome Dr. Yvette.
Thank you for attending this session today. We are honored that you would take your time today to spend it with us. We pray that you get out of this session everything you had hoped for and more. Family, today you're about to hear from a leader who is helping shape the future of technology, not just so it moves faster, but so it serves everyone. Dr. Yvette Pegues is an accessibility governance strategist engineer, author and founder of Chief Product Officer of your Invisible Disability Group. She helps organizations use inclusive innovation, ethical AI, and operational governance to prevent accessibility failures before they become incidents or headlines. A former technology executive and international recognized disability advocate, Dr. Pegues is also the author of Exclusive Innovation, Harnessing AI Robotics, and Machine Learning for Disability Tech. Her work stands at the intersection of technology, leadership, purpose, and practical action, reminding us that innovation without inclusion leaves people behind. Family, get ready for a powerful conversation about building a future where technology creates opportunity, dignity, and access for all. Please help me welcome Dr. Yvette Pegues.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for pre-recording that. Thank you for the opportunity to be here at the summit, and thanks to everyone who's joined. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a first-generation high school and college immigrant coming from Miami, Florida. I taught myself how to read and write because my parents could not. I don't want to use the word illiterate. I want to use the word undereducated because they gave birth to a young lady who graduated with an engineering degree and got recruited by IBM, which was the Apple of its day, and just completed her PhD. So I am so excited to be their child and to be here with you today. And what's so important about what I'm talking about today is because I wasn't always disabled. I wasn't always in a wheelchair and paralyzed from the waist down. It was after I went in for brain surgery. They said it was simple. They said it was easy. They said it was something that I was born with congenitally, and now it's presenting itself. Please listen to your body. I went to the doctor and they sent me to the emergency room. They performed brain surgery and damaged my spinal cord. So for 2 years, I was able to walk, talk, or work. I don't know if you know anyone with a disability. I don't know if you even are aware that there's 61 million Americans with disabilities. Please put a one in the chat if you know someone with a disability or you yourself have a disability that may be visible or invisible. I have both. For those of you who may not know about different disabilities, there's chronic pain, there's mental health. And when I say mental health, let me just be clear, that's PTSD, depression, bipolar, OCD. There's so many kids today that are suffering from invisible disabilities, and we need to know about that. Autism, attention deficit, diabetes, epilepsy. On one of our breakouts, there was a beautiful woman who had cancer. You can't see or tell that, especially online. Myself, traumatic brain injury, multiple sclerosis, hearing loss. The reason why all of this is important is because our family literally went from making 6 to 7 figures to owing 6 to 7 figures. Now we have recovered financially, and I have gone on to create work that's meaningful, work that's necessary, but inclusive innovation is being lost. I'd like to spend another few minutes talking to you a little bit about technology you may not understand the history for. So we're using a lot of it now. Voice recognition, closed captioning. If you've used any of these, please put a 1 in the comments. If you've used text to speech technology, a smartphone, dictation software, curb cuts, if you use strollers or bicycles on a sidewalk and you went down that little cut in the sidewalk, if you've used a screen reader or predictive text or automatic doors, which became so popular during COVID, audio books, eye tracking, all of that technology was created because someone more than likely with a disability could not access the world in the way that everyone else could. So you're already living in a world that wasn't created for someone with a disability, and there was technology and innovation that was created to include us, people with disabilities, with high income, high status, high access, and high needs. Why is that important when we talk about AI? Where there's multiple different mental models of disability, right? If you go back 40 or 50 years and you saw those telethons maybe that Jerry Lewis used to do for people with disabilities because they could not function without charities. They had to be given money. That has changed. But then we went to the medical model where people could not function without medical intervention. And thank God in 1990, the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, was created, and we became independent because we're lawyers, we're doctors, we're congressmen and women. We are engineers like myself who are making a lot of money, but we have to work so hard to get access to technology in buildings and bathrooms. And why is that important to you? It's important to you because the talent pool is broken. You have people like myself who has access to information that may not be in the workplace because the assumption, as I mentioned before, is number one, we need charity. Number two, we need a medical model. Number three, we need laws just to be able to get into the room. That is not the case. So, to get people into your room, you need to understand number one, that there's 61 million of us here in the US. The other thing that people don't understand is that it is the largest people group in the country. Let me say it again. It is the only people group that you can end up in. You don't have to be born in this people group. You actually could age into it. So it's accident, it's injury, it's aging. And so if you think of the baby boomers and you think of the fact that this is the first time in history that there are 6 to 7 different generations in the workplace at the same time. It's also the first time where there are more adults than there are children. And so if you think about the fact that you have this aging population, these are the people that fall into this category of disability indifference that you should sell your product and service to. The question is, how do you do that ethically? How do we include ethics into AI? How do we, as quickly as this technology is moving, include people with disabilities? Because it can be harmful, it can be unethical, and it could be difficult to understand. The problem with AI is it's amazing as a standalone product, but how do we integrate that into our businesses? How do we integrate that into the people group and services and products that we offer? That's the biggest problem that we're having with AI. It's the integration and the ethical use. And so in order for you to attract this people group, it needs to be used and delivered ethically. And so I don't have the time to do all of it today, so I do have a gift to give each of you. And you can scan the QR code and take a look at that after we're done. And of course, get in touch with me if you'd like to discuss this, but we need to design systems that actually work for people. The humanity will never change. You will never be able to use AI to recreate the human spirit. It is impossible. And that's where you win. That's where you build the type of reputation to sustain the type of business that you are either delivering, creating, selling, or developing. And so, one of the wonderful things I'm able to do from my wheelchair is to test disability products, services, and operations. And I never knew, after suffering from a traumatic brain and spinal cord injury, that I could use this very thing to be able to change the world. To be perfectly honest, I said to God, listen, after months of not being able to walk, talk, and work, and years of not being able to stand up and walk again, I said, God, if you're going to sit me down, teach me how to serve you sitting. Because I felt like I was so much more effective on my feet, but I've done so much more ministry sitting. The fact that I'm able to have this conversation with each of you is even incredible, because innovation is not complete until it works for everyone. That is your hack. That is what's going to differentiate you, because your product and service is reaching a whole people group that most people aren't even thinking about. People assume, depending on what you're selling, that maybe the young people are the ones that I can sell products and services to, or maybe they need to make a certain amount of money. But how about those people that have the income, they have the opportunity, they have access, and sometimes even a necessary connection to technology, AI included, that other people groups do not. And so you now, with just simple tweaks in your business, even in your language, the way that you sell and speak about your products, that includes people. I'm going to give you a very simple explanation and example. Of course, raise your hand or put a 2 in the chat if you attend church on a regular basis. Good, good, good. Or you visited. What do we call it? Like Mother's Day, Christmas, Easter. Okay. So if you've been to church or even a large setting or concert, what do they say when they want to hype the audience or when it's time to pray? Anybody know? You can say it out loud or you could put it, they'll tell you to stand, right? I was able to speak with my pastor and say, if you add 3 words every single time you ask for your congregation to stand, you will include everyone. Those 3 words are if you or if you're able. Please stand if you're able. That changed everything, because he was not unintentionally excluding those who could not stand, whether it be temporary, whether it be permanent, or whether it be something that you're not even aware of. You don't have to have an official disability diagnosis to feel like you're just not able. And so, what that was able to do was it was able to include every single person in the room. How can you shift your business to include every single person that fits your avatar, right? That's the word that we use. The avatar helps to describe every single person you want to touch. If you can include in your AI search, including people with disabilities or differences or a specific invisible or visible disability, you would be surprised at how exponentially your audience will, could, and should grow. It's a new lens that people are not using, but you have, through this conversation, as brief as it is, and hopefully future conversations you can have with me, found a hack, a place where so few people are building their businesses. The new lens changed not only how I live personally, but also the problems that I feel that I can solve professionally. It has affected speed, assumptions, convenience, and average end users, customers, and clients, because we're talking about real people, whether it's being those who are aging, distracted, multilingual, neurodivergent, which we're hearing a lot, those who are injured, even stress. Stress to a certain degree can debilitate you, right? If you're overwhelmed traveling, caregiving, these are people who are listening for certain words, keywords, if you will, for you to be able to say in your advertising, on your pages, as you put in these prompts in AI. And once you do that, you help to remove barriers, personalize experience, and improve communication, increase independence for the people that you are serving. So scale misses the human nuance. And when you know what I can teach you and what this free gift will definitely provide for you, it will open up a whole new door. I'm going to slow down a little bit so that you can get involved in this conversation, but I want to be able to bring you just why you should care, right? Of course, it's the right thing to do. Of course, you never know, like myself, how life will change you or your child or a family member, people that you love. But let me just tell you why you should care. I think I started to tell you previously about it being one of the largest underserved markets in the world, but loyalty, if I go somewhere that I can get into, or if I go to a church that the pastor intentionally says, if you're able, if there are ramps and doors that I can access, trust and believe I will be one of your most loyal customers because it's so much work to find something that fits. So when I find something that fits, I'm a customer for life. You engage communities and influence families. Families. I don't travel alone. So I work with airports, airlines, and highly regulated organizations to make travel safe and accessible. But here's the amazing part. The amazing part is I never travel alone. It's me, my husband, my kids, my caregiver, my dog. So for one ticket, you get 5 individuals on that same flight because I'm disabled, right? So most organizations and companies unintentionally create friction, frustration, embarrassment, confusion, or exclusion. The two biggest problems I had after I became disabled was shame and guilt. I was ashamed to show up in my wheelchair. I was ashamed that I was not the person that I used to be. So companies who speak to that shame and allows me to feel comfortable, whether they know it or not, it's passive language that doesn't even shift the conversation, but it's strong enough that when I hear it, it's a trigger. The guilt comes from needing extra help. Literally, I stay under a certain body weight because I feel like I need to be portable. I need people to be able to pick me up if I fall, help me shift into and out of my seat on an airplane. I know that I need to make it easy for people to help me, but it also improves customer service. It strengthens trust of your company. It reduces complaints. And we talked about loyalty, but it also improves your reputation, right? And it attracts diverse talent. My talent pool always includes people with disabilities, although it's not a question I could ask. But people may forget your marketing campaign, but they rarely forget how your system treated them. So I'm going to take a really quick break. Lex, I don't know if there are any specific questions in the chat. I'd love for you to add your questions as I kind of scream through this because I thought I was going to be over at 2:15. So if there's additional time that I have, I think I have what, 13 more minutes. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. So I'm going to just take a really quick break. I wanted to be able to make sure that I hear and see your questions. I don't want you to wait until the end to ask, but you should always look at your product and service and say to yourself, can disabled people use this? Look at the use case for everyone within your avatar, the category of your ICP, your client profile, and make sure that in addition to making sure that they fit into these categories, that they're also part of your planning, your testing, your leadership, your feedback, and decision making. Have someone on your team that can look at things from this lens. A lot of my clients do not. So I am the the special sauce, if you will, that is able to look at their marketing plan, look at their project plan, someone to come in as a consultant and an advisor to make sure that they're looking at every area of their business to make sure that visual, verbal, mobile, cognitive, sensory, and physical exclusions are removed. Even if you have a virtual storefront like online, There are laws that require you to have specific access on your website. Is your website accessible? Is there dignity, independence, confidence, and belonging in the way that you speak to and with the people that work with and for you? Small changes matters. Sometimes it's something as simple as clear conversation, caption, signage, flexibility, and listening. Listening for a question or a need that comes up, right? Are you using inclusive testing, and are you using inclusive language? uh, the 26th of July is the 36th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Are you using some of those very important days to market your product or service? Just like we are honoring those who served, how about those who are in a community that you're trying to attract? Are you putting something on your social media saying, happy 36th anniversary to the Americans with Disabilities Act that changed access for people with disabilities? December is International Day of People with Disabilities. And so if you are attuned to some of these dates, this will definitely allow you to show up operationally, because purpose does show up operationally. And I just feel like this conversation hopefully is one that opens your eyes and opens opportunities for you, because having only been disabled as a young adult, it is something that you can't miss. And I know I've missed. I talk about being innocently ignorant, but purpose is not only what we say, it's what we believe. There's so many different ways that it reveals itself in the systems that we build and the people that we include in the small decisions that we make every day. So I'm going to ask you a question. There's a question that I ask my clients, and that question is, which do you believe is the most difficult opportunity in a business to include people with disabilities? Is it architectural, or is it attitudinal? Put one for architectural barriers that keep people with disabilities outside of your business, and put a 2 in the chat if you think it's attitudinal. Attitudinal changes that you can make within your business to allow and include and invite people with disabilities and those with differences and their families into your business. Taking a look at the chat here. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Y'all are so good, because if the attitude shifts, the architecture doesn't matter as much. Of course, I still need a ramp. I do have a wheelchair that climbs stairs, but otherwise, if your mindset changes attitudinally, and my experience in that case is that if I roll into an organization that has stairs and no ramps, because of the attitude, they will pick me up to get me into their business so I can spend my money. But architecturally, I can roll into a business and the doors are 10 pounds and I can't get into the room. And so, how do we get into these rooms? And I believe it's our attitude. So, I'm just going to pause for a moment and first thank everyone for not just being in the room, but being active. I'm seeing all of your Michelle say, can I get an amen? I see a lot of everything that you're saying. And I'll tell you, I struggled for a long time trying to compete with who I was. I had, an incredible IQ that dropped 10 points after my brain injury. But when I lost an IQ, I built and grew an EQ. My emotional quotient and my emotional intelligence has made me such a better human. And my kids, I told God, hey, you can break me, but don't break my babies. And what I realized is He was able to make them incredible humans. And they responsibly use technology and AI because of who their mom is. I don't even know if they know how amazing they are. But I am so grateful that I can live in this purpose, put Christ before this crisis, and use the worst thing that happened to me to be the best thing. to happen to others. I hope you feel that today, because I want to see your businesses grow. I want to see your landscape grow and scale, because you've now included this incredible people group that you may or may not have included in your business, in your offices, in your workplace before. Any questions? So I'm looking through the chat here. Yeah, great comments. No, Tanisha, it's not fair. Let's see. Thank you for your service. I think that was for someone else, but yes, I'm so excited. So, if there aren't any specific questions, I'd love to ask you one and see if anyone is open to opening your mic and answering this in person. I think we tried to talk a little bit about knowing someone with a disability and how that changed you. Anybody want to raise their hand and see if they can answer this question with me?
I think Richard want to say something.
Oh, sure. Richard, please.
So what's the question? Go ahead.
The question was,
And
do you know, have you had an experience with someone who was disabled that changed the way you think, the way you work, or the way you live?
not really, but I have somebody that actually get into an accident that they couldn't walk, so they have to learn to walk again. I mean, everything changed for them. They have to learn how to walk again, and I mean, there's nothing they can do, you know? So, like what you're saying is very important, and that's why I came to your, I mean, over here to listen to you, to what you're gonna say, because like you're saying, that people don't really think about them, you know? So you're doing an incredible job, and I am super proud of you. You know, you have to keep up the work you're doing right now, you know?
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. But let me
Yep.
please share with you quickly. First of all, my
Okay.
condolences and my encouragement. I don't know if you're related to this person, but I participate in 24 different adaptive sports. So I water ski, I snow ski, I skateboard, I surf, I play basketball, I've been in a para triathlon. So when you say they can't do anything, I promise you, they can do so much more than you can dream or imagine. So once you get through the recovery, and like me, maybe get through the tears and get through the place where you're asking God why, there is so much that that individual can continue to do in their personal, spiritual, and their professional life. So if and when they get to that point and you're still connected, please feel free to connect them to me, because your invisible disability group is my organization that I created as a bridge to help newly disabled and diagnosed persons to live life after a life-changing, live forward after a life-changing event. So please, please keep in touch and let me know if there's any way I can help.
Of course.
Um, actually, Dr. Yvette, you could share your, your link, if they wanted to join your community. So if that helps. So yeah. And also I think you got your QR code. So
I
anyone wants
do.
to.
I do. So I would love for you to just scan the code that is in my background. Yes. And that will allow you to get the free gift that I have for every single person who is on this line, on this Zoom, that participated and gave me the privilege and opportunity to have this conversation with you. There are also connect opportunities there as well. There is a one question survey that I'd like you to take as well. And once you get that survey, it will allow you to get the free gift that I've provided for you today, with a lot of the tools that I discussed earlier. And it will also allow your organization to grow exponentially. And if there's anything I could do in addition to that, my contact information is on there as well. My TED Talk is on there as well. So please feel free to take a look at that if you want to learn a little bit more about me. I couldn't encapsulate it into this 30-minute session, but I made a promise at the top of this session that you would have access to a larger population and some insights on how to bring them into your fold, whether that's professionally, personally, or simply helping to support someone you know with a disability or someone aging. And I want to make sure that you got that. So if you got what I promised, please put a 10 in in the chat for me, because if I've missed anything, I would love to, of course, make sure that that is provided to you before we hang up today. We have 1 minute and 31 seconds. So please put a 10 in the chat if you feel that I've provided for you everything that I promised.
I scan your code and I give you a review too.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate it.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Lex. I got a 10 from Lex, one from Michelle. Thank you so much. Michelle, we have to talk online, offline, of course. We've already established that. Is it Jillian or Gillian? Oh, Dr. George, 11. You're amazing. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Is it Jillian or Gillian Kelly?
It's trillion.
I see also Gillian Kelly
It's
here.
Gilead. It's Gilead.
Gillian Kelly.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Please let me know if I met your expectations. I see Eric. Dr. Brian looks like he popped in here for a minute. I appreciate each of you. It looks like I have 30 seconds left. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Dr. George. Thank you, Michelle and Lex, for putting a 10 in the chat, confirming that I was able to provide what I promised. And of course, please scan the QR code so you can get even more than I promised. I want to under promise and over deliver. So once again, it looks like I'm down to 5 seconds. In closing, my name is Dr. Yvette Pegues, and I look forward to connecting soon.